Good evening. I call this meeting to order. The Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, September 3rd, 2020 agenda setting meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Here.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staten,
Here.
Freeholder Williams,
Here.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
All right, thank you. Will you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly, we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, the entire family of nations, true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And while our video is coming up, Mr. Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Yes, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another remote meeting of this Freeholder Board. We begin again with our thanks to the people of Union County who are looking out for one another, taking care of each other during this COVID-19 outbreak. Together, we've made significant progress against this virus. As many of you know, this week, Governor Murphy has ordered another step in the gradual reopening of businesses. Some school districts are also beginning to open, while others are starting online. However, it is not time to drop our guard. I encourage everyone to keep up the good work, wear your masks, observe social distance, and help keep Union County families safe during these troubled times. I do want to say also that we had the retirement of Vice Chairman Estrada on August 31st. And I wanted to say, we all had a little kind of mini get together for the Vice Chairman to see him off. He was moving out of the area. And I just wanted to take time. We all kind of gave him our messages directly, which was terrific. But publicly, I want to say what a terrific freeholder he's been and a colleague of mine for over 20 years, working hand in hand to help the residents in Union County. And he always had his heart in the right place, did the right thing, and worked hard for the residents every day. As the first Latino freeholder elected to this board, he certainly brought about an awareness and a perspective that was helpful to all of us and all the freeholders that he touched along the way, the people he worked with. So I want to thank Vice Chairman Estrada for his effort, for his sacrifice, his family as well, for the support for that freeholder for all those years too. And certainly we will miss him on this board professionally and certainly personally. So I wanted to just say that we didn't get a chance to do that at our last meeting, and publicly I wanted to make sure the Vice Chairman knew exactly my thoughts, and he's been a terrific friend and a great partner in government for all these years. Just also a reminder that you can get more details on all our programming coming up at ucnj.org. A good deal of our work during the outbreak is centered around Kane University campus in Union Township. I'd like to thank incoming and new president Lamont Repillet for his staff helping. Robert, I'm blaming you for that. And his staff, Mr. President and his staff, for rising to meet the many challenges in our community that we've faced since last March. As many of you know, the campus serves as a location for the county's free drive-through COVID-19 test center, which continues to operate every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The campus is also the site of drive-up food distribution events, which have helped thousands of residents cope with the economic impacts of this outbreak. The next food distribution event will take place on September 12th. The county's Department of Human Services has also launched a new food insecurity task force to improve coordination among our partner agencies and organizations. And the county has entered into an innovative new partnership with Kean University that will enable students to take part in the educational and employment opportunities provided through this test center. In a related matter, our free public test unit, mobile, has been visiting communities throughout the county to provide tests on a walk-up basis. This is actually a walk-up event going on this evening in Hillside, and we're using a saliva testing method for the first time. The next walk-up event for testing will be held on September 10th in Garwood. I'd also like to take a minute to remind everyone that the Union County Freeholders COVID response team is surveying residents that have used the test center or the walk-up service. If you get a call or a text message or a knock on the door from the COVID response team, please take a few minutes and help them out. The feedback will be very helpful for us. In the coming weeks, the COVID response team will be reaching out to canvass members of the general public and going door to door. I have a few additional brief announcements. First, I'd like to thank the family of LGBTQ activist Marsha P. Johnson for their work in establishing a memorial to celebrate her life in her hometown of Elizabeth. The Office of LGBTQ Affairs will help coordinate this effort. Next, our third annual Hispanic Heritage Month celebration will take place in Warnanko Park on Saturday evening, September 19th from 6 to 9:30 and feature live performances and a movie. We're happy to be able to bring these events back, and we ask that attendees observe social distance and other safety precautions. I'm also happy to announce that the county is hosting our first ever drive-up concert featuring the B Street Band. There'll also be an opening set and a performance by Ray Anderson and friends. This event will take place at the Votech Schools campus in Scotch Plains on Sunday evening, September 20th. The concert is free, but space is limited and registration is required. Registration goes live on September 8th at 9 o'clock. Of course, all the COVID safety rules apply. For those of you interested in the environmental topics, Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Union County is offering a series of free webinars beginning Monday, September 14th. They will be providing expert advice about saving money on your energy bills, eco-friendly yard care, and recycling, among other subjects. Speaking of recycling, our free drop-off programs for personal papers, shredding, household hazardous waste, and scrap metal are continuing this month. And I'd like to remind everyone that the 2020 census is still underway. If you haven't responded yet, please take a few minutes to participate online by visiting census.gov. It only takes a few minutes, and it'll make the difference in our efforts to share federal funding for infrastructure improvements, education, social services, and more. The last day to self-respond for the census is Wednesday, September 30th. Finally, on November 3rd, there will be a general election, and that's getting closer. I have an important message from Union County Clerk Joanne Rajapi and Board of Elections Administrator Nicole Dorado, both of whom are on this call. The message is simple. Please visit their offices online, call them, or send them an email if you need information about vote-by-mail ballots, ballot drop-off boxes, polling places, and other matters having to do with the upcoming election. Please don't forget, don't get information secondhand from random websites or social media. Go right to the source. Both Joanne and Nicole have their websites updated, and there's excellent information there, just a few clicks away. And now let's turn to our agenda. We will be looking to approve our communication during the regular meeting, which will follow immediately after this agenda meeting. And we will start by We'll start with Union County Clerk Joanne Rajapi to present her resolutions. Joanne?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the plug for our website also. The County Clerk's Office has 3 resolutions this evening, all related to the November 3rd presidential election, and the executive orders from the governor, which occurred in August, as well as the mandate from the New Jersey legislature.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I see Freeholder Hudak has his hand up. Freeholder?
Gotcha. Good evening, Madam Clerk.
Good evening.
I wanted to say both to you and Director Dorado, or Administrator Dorado, just very happy to see we're expanding the mailbox drop-offs, and we look forward to seeing those locations over the next few weeks. As you said, these resolutions pertain to the vote-by-mail process. And I guess my question tonight relates to, how our interaction with the post office has been the last few weeks. In the run-up to the election, it's been quite a hot topic nationally. But I wanted to know, if you could, discuss what's going on with the Union County Post Office in terms of your interaction with those postmasters, and if you have any concerns in terms of what is going to happen when, several 100,000 ballots are mailed out in the next couple of weeks.
That's a great question, Freeholder. Well, firstly, we are not dumping 375,000 ballots at one time. They will be going out in waves, and to the best of our ability, they will be going town by town. So one week we hopefully have 4 towns, and another 4 towns, etc. We do not send our mail through Union County post offices because we have a special first class postage rate, which is about 42 cents because it's pre-sorted and pre-classified. So that goes through our mailer sends it out for us. We give the ballots to the mailer. He sends them out under his postal indicia. And as I said, it's 42 cents for a first class letter. He sends it to a central distribution center. We have been in touch with the regional managers of the distribution centers, and they assure us that they will get them to the post offices, hopefully within 2 to 3 days. Now, they said that also in the primary, and we had somewhat of an issue with that. So we tell people that there are at least 5 different ways to get their ballot in and secure and know that it's in. One is to use a ballot box because Nicole's people, authorized personnel, pick those up. Usually every day. They're under camera surveillance. They're very, very safe. Secondly, they can go to my office in Westfield or the Elizabeth office, county clerk's office, and bring them there. Or they can go to the Board of Elections office. Lastly, they can take them, if they wish, with this new legislation for this election only, to their polling place, which has never been allowed before. But they can only bring their ballot. So they bring it to their polling place and they will be asked to sign the registry book. And the last opportunity, of course, is they can put it in the mail. One of the things the legislature and the governor did was requested that we send out the ballots as early as possible. All ballots are supposed to be out by the first week in October. So that gives our residents and voters an opportunity to vote them and get them back. The only issue is with new registrations. So we get that list coming in mid-October, and we're making arrangements for new voters whom it might be too late for us to send them their ballot, for them hopefully to come to our office to pick it up. We're making every alternative available for voters. We want to make sure that they not only get their ballot, but they get it back in time to be counted. And of course, in addition to that, they have a longer time span to get their ballot in. It just has to be postmarked by Election Day.
And what's the deadline now post-election? Returning the ballot.
I believe it's 10 days. Nicole would know better than I, but I believe the legislation said 10 days. And of course, there is also a procedure to cure your ballot. Those ballots that have issues, the Board of Elections will be sending those voters a cure letter, what they need to do to cure their ballot within a certain specific time frame. So everyone will have an opportunity to have their ballot opened and read.
Fantastic. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Chairman.
Good. No, thank you, Joanne. Excellent synopsis of what's
You're welcome.
happening. Okay. Any other questions for our county clerk? Okay, Joanne, thank you very much. Good work. Keep it up. Let your staff know too. We're going to move on to the office of the Union County Prosecutor, and replacing Prosecutor Rotolo for tonight is the First Assistant Prosecutor, Doreen Yannick. Doreen?
Thank you so much. Good evening, Chairman and Freeholders. How are you?
I'm good.
The prosecutor's office has one resolution scheduled for this evening. It seeks authorization to allow the office and the county manager to apply for monies from the state of New Jersey, specifically through the Victims of Crime Act, VOCA, that grant program under a titled program known as County Sexual Assault Response Team Forensic Nurse Examiner Program. As you're aware, every county prosecutor is required to have a sexual assault response team program. We do have one here and have had one since 2001. The request specifically is to make this funding request in the amount of $87,451 in federal funds, with a required match of $21,863 for a project total of $109,314,000 for the period of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. It is only a nominal increase both in federal funds and in the match from the last time that we made application for this grant. And again, it's for a victim-centered, comprehensive approach, multidisciplinary team approach to sexual assault victims and survivors throughout the county on a 24/7 basis. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam First Assistant. Is there any questions for the First Assistant Prosecutor? Okay. I don't see any, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well explained. Department of Corrections, Director Charles.
I think we're back. The Department of Corrections has one resolution for your consideration tonight. It's a small resolution regarding the low library services we provide for the inmates. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
So any questions for Director Charles? So, Director, it's our obligation to provide them with material, legal material, so they can do their own research and however they want to research the law from their perspective.
Yes, that is correct, Chairman. We are bound by the ACA guidelines and the New Jersey Administrative Code to provide legal services, which a paralegal comes in 2 or 3 times a week. They do some case law. They facilitate some discovery motions. They provide discovery through the CDs and audio components, and it's something that we are mandated to provide.
Okay, good. Well, Director, I may ask Freeholder Garrettson through Public Safety to maybe pull a meeting together just to talk about the jail, the corrections facility, how it's going this year. in a subcommittee basis could make sense. I'd like to, see what kind of documentation, just from a general update standpoint, nothing specific, what's happening. But I'll let Freeholder Garrison kind of, noodle on that and figure out a good time to pull her committee together and work with you to get an update. I think that'll be helpful. Is that all right, Freeholder?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Terrific. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
We're going to move to the Department of Economic Development and Deputy County Manager Wagner.
Good evening, freeholders. This evening, the Department of Economic Development has 2 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. I don't see question. Yes, Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Deputy County Manager, can you just give us an update on how the census is going?
Absolutely. We just got numbers today. We are in 11th place in the state. We were 12th, so we're moving up. Our response rate, our self-response rate is 69.2%. In 2010, we were at 70%, so we anticipate at least being where we were. We have a bunch of campaigns going on. If you may have seen in our low self-response areas, there's an LED truck going around. We're going to do more of that. We'll also be doing another round of advertising on the local cable stations. And, we're working very closely with the municipalities, particularly those with low self-response rates, to try to bump those numbers up as best we can. And we feel very comfortable that we'll at the very least get to the same numbers where we were in 2010. Obviously, we like to do better, but it's a strange year. And for those of you that don't know, the self-response deadline now is September 30th. So then there'll be some enumerators going around and some things like that. But I think there had been a push to try to extend things a little bit further, but that was not granted by the federal government. So this is where we are.
Thank you, Deputy County Manager. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. Thank you, Deputy County Manager. We'll move on to the Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities, and Director Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, freeholders. The department has 5 resolutions on tonight for your consideration, and I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Director Graziano? Trying to have to scroll down to see every freeholder if their hands are up. Okay, I don't see anything, Director. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, we're going to move on to the Department of Finance, Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 2 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Director Taylor? These are both accepted grants, is that right, Director?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, that's good news, and I appreciate that. So thank you. We will move on to the Department of Human Services, and filling the role for Director Anderson will be the Deputy Director, Karen Dinsmore. Hi, Karen.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the board. The Department of Human Services has 1 resolution on for your consideration. It's an amendment to the Aging Area Plan, adding in $65,000 and $538. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, is there any questions for our Deputy Director? No, I don't see any. Karen, thank you very much. Nice to see you anyway. Very good. Department of Parks and Recreation, Director Zuber.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. Department of Parks and Recreation has 2 items on tonight's agenda, and I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
All right, Director, thank you. Any questions for Director Zuber? Okay, Director, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on. The Office of the County Manager, County Manager Oatman.
There we go. Thank you, Chairman. I have 4 items on tonight's agenda. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, is there any questions for the County Manager? Ed, can you just talk a little bit about, I see we're adding some dollars through the CARES out to the public. Can you just give kind of a high-level overview of the additional dollars that we're making available to help our community?
Sure. I'm also going to bring the DCM Amy in on this because this is actually going through her department. We saw before we closed down the process, we saw, what was it, Amy, about 750 applicants after the dupes. So we're trying to serve as many people in the community as we can. So the board thought it would be a wise investment to add more money to try to get more money out on the street and help the small businesses. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Amy.
Yeah, it was, to be exact, 739 without the dupes. We've been feverishly processing the documents. We are currently actively working the first 140. 42 businesses have already received notification that they're being granted awards. We're waiting for, in many cases, for signed grant agreements to come back. We have received some. They actually will be put on the county manager's desk for his signature to fully execute them, and then we can begin the process of starting to make payments.
Good. I think this county's been very responsive to help the community, small business, libraries, school districts. I see nonprofits are now part of this CARES funding, and that's really important. So I think we're, with the leadership of the freeholders and the leadership of the administration, putting these dollars where they can do the most good in the community. And I'm proud of our collective effort. And I think we'll be in a really good position to maximize those dollars as best we can to help as many people as we can and as many businesses as we can. So credit, Ed, to you and Amy for your direction here, and credit to the board for all their support in this area. So thank you.
A lot of people involved, Chairman. So
I know. No, and I
director,
know
staff, a lot of people.
Agree. And I know there's a lot of people working really hard to take that information and turn it into the relief that people need. And it's a lot of process, but people are working really hard to make that happen. So much credit to your teams as well. Absolutely.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Great.
I had a question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Freeholder Williams, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Just a quick question, just to clarify for the public. When you say, with regard to the businesses that, have cleared everything and everything is being processed, what's the turnaround time? What's the sort of time frame for the relief to actually occur? Meaning the insurance or the utility bill or the rent?
I would expect money to start flowing as early as next week. We'll have to be doing purchase orders. Those require an original signature. So, and our intention is to provide a self-addressed stamped envelope so that they have no reason not to sign it and send it back to us in an effort to expedite that process.
Well, they could drop it off too downstairs if they don't want to mail it.
Yes, they can absolutely do that.
Speed things up. And we've also added some more staff reassigned internally to try to speed this process along. I know a lot of people really need the money, so we're trying to do what we can to get it going.
We're as frustrated as everyone else is by the length of time it's taking, so we really are doing our best to try to bump it up and get it flowing more quickly.
Thank you, and thank you, Chairman.
No, thank you, Freeholder. Excellent question. I know people are asking us and following up, and I know from my perspective, you want to get this right because, the federal government will be, crossing every T and dotting every I, and we have to make sure when we make these allocations that they're correct and appropriate, because nobody wants to be in a position where they ask for the money back. So I know the due diligence is somewhat frustrating, but help is on the way, and I think the process will work for our advantage over time. So, but great question, and thank you for asking it. Okay, anything else for the county manager? Anything CARES related? Okay, I don't see. So we'll move to freeholder sponsored resolutions. Is there any comments about our resolutions? Okay, I don't see anybody, but I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay. All right. Very good. I think we're through our agenda meeting. May I ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Garrettson. Yes? Very good.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the adjournment.
Okay, very good. We're done with meeting number 1. And we will go right into, Jimmy, is that right? Right into the second meeting? Are you okay with that?
That is fine. Yes, we can.
All right, then let's do it. Robert, are you all set for that as well?
All set.
All right, at this time, I'll call this meeting to order, the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, September 3rd, 2020 regular meeting, and ask the clerk of the board to call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye. Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Here.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Here.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present for the regular meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Jim. Please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
While the freeholders are turning their cameras on, Mr. Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the County of Union, has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Clerk. May I now have a motion to approve the communication?
So moved.
Second.
By Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the communications.
Very good. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 13 agenda and regular meetings?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
And Chairman Mirabella. And Chairman Mirabella?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on both minutes.
Okay, very good. We have an ordinance for final reading. Mr. Clerk, please read the ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 817-2020, capital ordinance of the County of Union, New Jersey, authorizing the demolition of the existing county parking deck on Elizabethtown Plaza and the construction of a parking deck on such site in, by, and for the county, appropriating therefore the sum of $13,500,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from capital surplus of the county.
Okay, the meeting is now open to the public for commenting on ordinance number 817-2020 only. Jimmy and Robert, please, if anyone is signed up to speak, now's their opportunity. Jimmy, call on the first person, please.
Certainly. I did receive an email from one individual, but he is on the Zoom meeting, so I would call upon Bruce Patterson.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, please make your comments.
Good evening. Am I able to be heard?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. In reference to the ordinance 817-2020, I have two comments on this ordinance for the demo and construction of a parking deck for $13.5 million. The first one is, I have mixed feelings on how you're funding this, taking the cost entirely out of surplus. In the past, I had recommended that some surplus should be returned to the taxpayers since it's their money, and that end of last year, you were sitting on around $80 million in cash reserves. Instead of returning it, you are paying 100% cash for the parking deck. This can be actually considered good since you are not borrowing, but then the irony of all this is that the borrowing cost and the bond percentage right now is very low. So this is a perfect climate that you really should bond for it. But at least what you're doing doesn't really increase our total tax burden. So it's good and bad at the same time. The second comment is back in June 18th, you held a meeting. I had a resolution. There was a resolution 2020-484 for $1.5 million to Lair Cumming for the parking deck. I stated it was way too high if it was just professional services. In response, the county manager clarified that this cost also included the demolition work itself on the parking deck, which is to be done nights and weekends to avoid interference of county operations nearby. Now in this ordinance, you are also including demolition again. There appears to be a duplication of scope, and this double work really needs to be removed either from the ordinance or from Lair Cummings' existing contract. Thank you very much.
All right. I don't know, Ed, if there's any, or Joe Graziano, if you have any comments about any kind of duplication of work. I'm sure that's not the case. I just want to be able to give Mr. Patterson an answer to that question.
I'll take care of that, Chairman. That is correct. That is not the case. If I don't recall saying that in June, but just to be clear, this amount is for the demo and construction.
Okay.
That was not included in the June ordinance, the demolition.
All right, very good. And I think other than that, we'll accept a quasi-positive comment from Mr. Patterson. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Yes, Chairman, we have one more individual in the queue. I don't know if he would like to speak on this matter. The name is Michael Carvalho.
Okay, Mr. Carvalho, if you have any comments about this, that's great. If not, we can move on.
No comments.
Okay. All right, thank you. So is there any other people wishing to speak, Mr. Clerk?
I did not receive any other emails, so that would be the end of public comment for the public hearing on this ordinance.
Okay. Noting that there are no other comments, I will formally close this portion of the meeting and ask Freeholder Granados to move ordinance number 817, 2020 for final reading.
Thank you, Chairman. As fiscal chairman, I'll move ordinance number 817-2020 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Williams. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudet.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for ordinance number 817-2020.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Tonight we have 2 ordinances for first reading. Clerk of the board, please read the first ordinance by title.
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 818-2020, an ordinance to amend the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan by including a Class C recycling facility to be owned and operated by Linden Renewable Energy, LLC, located at 4900 Trembling Point, Lot 8.02, Block 587, Linden, New Jersey, to accept organic waste or organic substrate and utilize anaerobic digestion to create renewable natural gas, marketable soil amendment, and liquid digestate that will be processed on site to produce liquid organic fertilizer.
Okay, prior to asking Freeholder Hudak to move the ordinance for first reading, I'd like to ask the clerk of the board to advise the public the reason for reintroducing this ordinance.
Exactly, Chairman. Thank you. If you recall, the board introduced this ordinance on June 18th and held two public hearings on July 23rd, and finally adopting the ordinance at that July 23rd meeting. All the required documents were provided to the DEP for their review and approval. With that said, the NJDEP issued a memo back in April regarding new additional requirements for any solid waste plan amendments. Then they issued a clarification memo in July as it related to COVID-19, which is why we needed to have those two public hearings. While the Union County Utilities Authority attorneys were in contact with the state DEP regarding our compliance with these new guidelines, unfortunately, the DEP determined that the actual public notice omitted language stating the average amount of liquid organic food waste that was to be processed. For information, that amount is 1,400 tons per day. And that amount was included in all the documentation and in their application to the state. But as a result, they are asking the county to reintroduce this ordinance, hold two public hearings, with the understanding that the public notice would include the tonnage amount in the publication. The good news is, from my understanding, is that the DEP is going to, since they have all the documents and we were in compliance with all the documents, they're going to begin reviewing that as they would. But they are just requesting that we go through the process again of publishing the public notice and holding the public hearings once again. But the application that was sent and the application that the board voted on remains the same.
All right. With that, and thank you for that explanation, Mr. Clerk, we'll move to Freeholder Hudak. Would you please move ordinance number 818-2020 for first reading, please?
With pleasure, Chairman. I move ordinance number 818-2020 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on October the 1st, 2020.
I have a second, please.
Aye.
Second.
Aye.
Mixing it up over here, okay?
I'm going to call on Freeholder Granados just for thinking outside the box and commenting for the second. So Freeholder Granados has a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams. I'm sorry, Freeholder Williams. And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on ordinance number 818-2020.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please read the second ordinance by title for first reading.
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 819-2020, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 799-2018 entitled an ordinance to amend ordinance number 506-99 entitled an ordinance establishing land development standards for the County of Union, adopted by the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders on September 9th, 1999.
Okay, Freeholder Williams, will you please move the ordinance 819 for first reading?
Certainly, Chairman. I hereby move ordinance number 819-2020 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law. Public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on October 1st, 2020.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams. And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for ordinance number 819-2020.
Okay, very good. May I have a motion to suspend the rules to allow for the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and the public comment for any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county into one public comment section? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski. May I have a second, please?
Second.
That's good, Freeholder Granados. I'll choose you for a second. All in favor?
Wait, no, we'll do a roll call, Chairman.
Roll call, Jimmy, roll call.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
And Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the suspension of rules.
Very good, thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for anyone wishing to speak on resolutions being offered for adoption or any matter. Jimmy, let's call the first person up. Note that you'll have a 5-minute time limit, and there'll be the countdown will start when you begin your speaking. So who's the first person we have?
First person in our queue tonight is Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, you're up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. I did send in my comments, written comments, and I corrected them to reflect the proper resolution numbers from the draft to the real agenda that you now have. So in speaking, Resolution 2020, 633 and 634, these may be out of order because things changed. These 2 resolutions are for a total of $8 million in the CARES Act grants to nonprofits and what is called safe learning. This really needs clear explanation to the public exactly what this is for, and specifically why $4 million is earmarked for nonprofits. Resolution 2020, 622, 623, 624, and I harped upon this in the last couple of freeholder meetings. These are resolutions increasing our expenditures for the vote by mail process by another $800,000, now spending a grand total to date of nearly $5.5 million. The reason for such expenditures is Executive Order 177, which states every active registered voter is to receive a mailed ballot. Actually, I see no difference as to what you are already doing, and this money is really just abusing our tax dollars. It's $550,000 more to B&B Press, $200,000 to full-service mailers, another $40,000 to Royal Printers. In my opinion, it's easy to get away with abuse during a crisis situation. $5.5 million and counting. Resolution 2020-630. This is a resolution of CME Associates of Parlin on-call and engineering services. Original contract was $45,000. This reso adds another $20,000, which is nearly a 50% increase. That's a big increase for just sitting by the phone for on-call. This total expenditure needs an explanation. And by the way, CME had donated to the Freeholders and the Cronies campaigns $106,000 in 4 years. 2020-632. Here's a resolution to the UCIA, our county's financial arm, which is just really a black hole losing millions of our taxpayer dollars. Led by an ex-freeholder, Sullivan proved himself a financial failure at county budgeting his 2 years as finance chair, resulting in a 16% increase in county taxes. Now you're giving him $2 million for what you call preliminary expenses in the planning, design, and undertaking of this new government complex that's coming up. No one there has any expertise in planning and design, so you really need to explain where this $2 million is disappearing. UCIA needs to be abolished, the members tossed out on their ears. This is the most incompetent agency in the county, more so than what I find you guys doing. That's a backhanded compliment, I guess. Please vote no on this. Resolution 2020-642. Although his leaving the Freeholder Board raises some eyebrows since he is leaving prematurely and not serving to the end of the year as previously stated, I am here to commend Freeholder Estrada for his years of service. Over the years, many times, in fact so many times, we did not see eye to eye on issues and resolutions, but from his chair, he gave a thorough and easily understood explanation of his stance or his views to the public. He was the most transparent freeholder since I have been coming to these meetings for over 15 years. Probably the highest praise to be considered from me is that I did vote for him in the past. And general comment, thank you for coming to Garwood for COVID testing. A question that comes out of that is, what type of testing will you be doing? Will it be nasal or saliva? So thank you very much, freeholders.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, thanks. We'll move. Ed, do you want to mention anything about the safe learning and the nonprofit? You made a small comment about that up front, but if you want to add any color to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I could touch on a few of these things, Chairman. I'll take the last comment first about the mobile testing in Garwood. That's going to be the saliva test, which is done through Rutgers University. Results should be in about 48 to 72 hours. So that's the what we use for all the mobile testing. For let me go. Sorry, for 632, that is for the Improvement Authority to work on our new government complex. There's a need to hire an architect, a qualified architect, to do the bridging documents. So that is what that is about. For 33 and 34, there's a great need for the nonprofits. It's going to be used for COVID-related expenses, like we're doing with municipalities and other groups, for PPE or things that these groups are spending money on so they can operate and continue to help the public. So I think I covered most of Mr. Patterson's things under me, and I'll turn it back to you, Chairman.
And just on the safe learning, that's for the school districts.
I'm actually going to defer to that one to Director Taylor.
Through you, Chairman. As schools announce plans for full or partial distance learning in response to the spread of COVID-19, working parents with school-aged children ages 5 to 13 require a safe learning setting. And as a result, the county the administration is recommending through the board to award up to $4 million for families that qualify for free and reduced lunch, because most working families would be most adversely affected by having to stay at home to care for children. This grant allows us to partner with daycare centers, which is also a critical need area. There's been many studies shown that those are the most vulnerable businesses at this point in time. And so it provides them with relief and providing a service to working families to have children be in a safe location while families have to work.
Okay, Director, and where is there information on that for the public? I mean, obviously we're passing it just tonight, but where could people find information on that?
The school districts, we've partnered with the county superintendent, and he will be releasing to each of the various school districts a flyer where parents can log on to our website to access the application and to find out more information. We have also been speaking to all of the daycare centers, and we've released information preliminarily to gauge their interest, and we will then be following up upon approval by the board.
Right, very good, thank you. I do want to see if we can call on Joanne Rajapi, our county clerk, on the vote by mail information. I mean, obviously it's mandated by the governor, and we're just executing the executive orders that your office has gotten, that we've gotten, but you know, and that takes a lot of money to do that. So, but if you want to add anything, Joanne, from your perspective, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The largest expenditure here is for 375,000 vote by mail ballots. We have never had this expenditure before, even in the presidential, because we don't do all vote by mail elections. The second highest expenditure is for postage, but I have to tell you, we're getting a great deal. 42 cents per ballot, that's amazing. And that totals 157,000. The only expense in here that is not directly mandated is $33,800. I have decided to put a how to vote brochure in with every ballot. The reason being, we don't want people to be disenfranchised because they do not understand how to vote a ballot. Now, the ballot does have instructions, but the vote by mail brochure is a graphic, and it shows the step-by-step process. And we know from experience in the primary that many people were not able to do it correctly. So this is an attempt to help people do it correctly so their vote counts.
Okay. All right, good, Joanne. Thank you. I figured it was along those lines, but I'm glad you spelled it out a little bit more specifically. Much obliged. Appreciate that. Okay, Jimmy, is there anybody else that is lined up to speak? We can open up.
Chairman, yes, we do. We have a Mr. Michael Carvalho.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Mr. Carvalho, if you have any comments or questions, now is the time for you.
Comments or questions? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Thank you for dialing in, and we appreciate your participation. So with that, no comments, I am going to close this portion of the meeting.
Chairman?
Yes?
Chairman, if I may, I did receive one other email from an individual who did not sign in to today's Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Jimmy.
Read it into the record. It's a comment on any matter.
Okay.
And I'll be reading this verbatim. It's from a Maria Echevarria from Elizabeth, New Jersey. And she states, everyone needs to contact representatives for bills trying to be passed. A4576 is to mandate flu shots. Vaccines insert states under 13.1 that they've never been tested for carcinogenesis, mutagenesis, and impairment of fertility. The aluminum and mercury and all the other poisons that are put into flu shots are neurotoxic to the body. You can't have a blanket mandatory vaccine for the flu shot that is up on September 15th, 2020. Vaccines are unavoidably unsafe, according to the U.S. Supreme Court. Do you know if you're vaccinated with the flu shot, you're over 30% more likely to have a positive COVID test? People need to wake up to hidden agendas. Don't allow Big Pharma to buy your kids for campaign contributions. I live in Elizabeth. If you need to know what town I'm from, thank you, Maria Echevarria.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jimmy. Is there anybody else that has comments that we can share?
Chairman, there are no other comments that I've received.
All right, very good. Then I'll ask for a motion to adopt the resolutions 2020-615 through 2020-642.
Moved.
Second.
Freeholder Granados and seconded by Freeholder Williams. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudet,
Aye. Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman Mirabella, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on all resolutions.
Okay. Very good. Then we'll move to freeholder reports and comments. And we will start with Freeholder Hudak. He's first on my screen.
Thank you, Chairman. Just 2 very brief comments tonight. I heard one of the speakers reference flu shots. I visited the pediatrician with my son and daughter yesterday. Flu shots are now coming available, and I recommend you consider getting one this year. Just with COVID going on, it's an opportunity to protect your kids, protect your family, especially as they're expecting the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic to be upon us right at the height of flu season. So please talk to your physician. Consider getting a flu shot this year. I know we do a clinic here in the county, and I know they're very accessible this year. So please be sure to take that opportunity. And secondly, I just want to commend, we had the opportunity last week, as the chairman said, to commend our colleague on his retirement, Vice Chairman Estrada. He will certainly be missed. He's a friend, a mentor to many of us, and I truly enjoyed serving with him. So I'll leave my comments at that and pass it back to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in this evening. I'll be brief also. I'd just like to wish all the students good luck on their first day back to school, whether it's in person or virtual. We wish you well and strive for excellence. Don't be discouraged by this pandemic. Just stay focused and keep your eyes, and it'll be over soon. So just keep striving. Union County Freeholders support all of our students, and we wish you the best. I also like to encourage everyone that's able to please donate to the churches or the local town borough hall for the back to school drive. The kids still need supplies, even though they're working from home. So we need to look after our students and make sure that they're equipped with everything that they need for a successful year. So again, I just encourage everyone to please donate if they're able. Also, in case anyone missed the chairman's message earlier, I'd like to remind everyone about the emergency food drive. The next distribution will be held on September 12th at King College at 9 a.m. And that's it. That concludes my comments. Thank you. Everyone stay safe.
Thank you, Freeholder Staten.
Mm-hmm.
Freeholder Williams.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a couple of things. I would like to echo Freeholder Staten's comments on back to school. Be safe, be well, and I wish everyone a really safe new year. I already started back to school this past week at the college where I teach, and virtual is not as bad as it's made out to be, in my opinion. So if the educator is enthusiastic, I think that does transmit to the students as well. Another comment I wanted to make was regarding the census, as came up earlier. Please, please, please respond to the census, and also ask your friends and neighbors and family if they have not already responded to please respond. It really is critical in terms of funding that we will receive in the future. And then my final comment is to echo the comments made by my colleague Chris and our chairman about Angel Estrada. He has been a wonderful colleague of ours, and I wish him and Terry and the whole family well as they move on to their new life and their new home. That concludes my comments, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Mudet.
Thank you, Chair. In honor of our former colleague, Freeholder Estrada, I'm going to bank my time today, but I wanted to wish him well, and him and his wife in their retirement. Thank you.
Well played.
Somebody would bank their time. Perfect. Well done. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to add my thanks and best wishes to Freeholder Vice Chair Estrada and his family. Thanks for the many years of dedicated service. Also, I join my colleagues in condolences to the family of Michelle Betrito. Michelle, those of us who've been around for a few years knew Michelle from the Women's Political Caucus, from her service on the council in Summit. Michelle was a dedicated public servant, a very wise and experienced person who, as long as I can remember, has been involved in doing good for not just for Summit, but for the people of Union County. And it was a sudden departure, and she will be very much missed. Also, I will not second, but third or maybe fourth the comments about the census. You know, we hate to leave federal money on the table, and the dollars are so important to the many people in need here in Union County. And the census does not share information that you give them. This is private information. It simply goes to the Census Department so that they can tell the federal government how many people we have, and that determines how much funding we get. So thank you, Chairman, and that's it for me tonight.
Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Just want to start off by thanking Vice Chairman Estrada for his leadership, not only on our county freeholder board, but also when he served as a Board of Ed commissioner, and somebody who always played an impactful role in the city of Elizabeth, and always being somebody who I know I, along with a lot of people in this freeholder board, always looked up to and went to for advice. So I thank him for everything he's done for the residents of Union County. And then when it comes to the CARES Act funding, I definitely want to thank our county administration, the fiscal committee, and all the freeholders who work together in making sure that we're allocating more funding for small business grants, the nonprofit grants. As we know, so many nonprofits are working, constantly nonstop during COVID and making sure that they're providing social and beneficial services to our residents who have psychological issues, due to COVID, who have mental health issues, who have financial issues and employment issues. And our nonprofits are stepping up to the plate and making sure that all our residents are being served. And definitely this grant will definitely go towards benefiting them and benefiting our residents in the long term. And the safe learning definitely is going to be a great initiative. As we know, there's so many parents who have to go to work and their child are doing remote learning. And these grants will definitely be able to help out these parents who are having financial resources to have kids in these daycare centers and et cetera, and making sure they're able to receive the instructional learning that they're supposed to be learning. So I just want to thank everybody for the collaborative efforts on these two programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to also echo all of the compliments that my colleagues have shared. I think that they've highlighted everything that is really present, whether COVID, census, or going back to school. So thank you, thank you. I do have a statement I want to share this evening that I'll read, and it's as follows. As the Union County representative for the New Jersey County Association, NJAC, and on behalf of our county board, it is my pleasure to highlight two students this evening who enrolled at Rutgers University and both graduated last year from Union County Vocational Technical School. Jennifer Eduardo of Hillside is studying biology, and Natalia Szczepanik of Linden is studying exercise science programs that are both in the School of Arts and Sciences on the Rutgers New Brunswick campus. But tonight, we are proud to award on behalf of NJAC these two college students with $500 from the Investors Foundation scholarship that they can each apply toward their college education. NJAC's foundation has facilitated this initiative, and our county is proud to be a member and continue to support their innovative educational opportunities for students in our state and especially in our county. So I just wanted to, again, give them a big shout out, congratulations, but also for this wonderful board for being able to support these wonderful students. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good. Thank you, Freeholder Garrettson, and thank you for your work at NJAC too, representing this board and the County of Union at that organization. I have just a couple of quick comments that I'll add. And one of the speakers mentioned Freeholder Estrada and his leaving the board in basically the end of his term, but certainly before it was completed. And I've actually had a few people question why is the vice chairman, why is the freeholder leaving in September before his term is over? And it's very simple. He's fine. He's perfectly healthy. It has to do with he's moving out of the area to be closer to his children, his grandchildren. So that's really simply what it was. And Vice Chairman Estrada, knowing the man that he was, wouldn't have it any other way. If he wasn't in the area, if he wasn't a direct resident of the county, he felt his time was up, and he was moving to with his wife and to be close to his family. That's simply what it is. So obviously we wish him the best and all the contributions he's made. I mentioned a little bit about the thanks to the staff for working hard, processing and getting all the CARES dollars, and I want to emphasize that a little bit more because we make a lot of these decisions, and then people are executing, our vision, our strategy, our path forward, and that really is left up to our staff, from the county manager to our directors, and the staff, even all the staff reporting to that. So I really want to thank them for stepping up and doing the extra work to get that work done. The same is true for the staff that's visiting Kane University at the testing center every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Whether they're the nurses out taking the samples, whether they're the people volunteering and using their time to take phone calls from the residents, whether it's the security, the county police that are going above and beyond to make sure that's a safe place for people to get tested. Quite simply, we have been the most successful county producing these tests from the very beginning. The first county that set this up, and then all the hundreds and hundreds and thousands. I think we're over 40 or 50,000 tests, and we'll continue to do that as long as we need to, and step up to provide that testing. But it's the people that are taking time away from their job to go to the site that have to make up the work. They're the people that are really stepping up around our county. We know who those people are, and we're just thankful we have a caring group of employees and volunteers and people who can do this for their fellow residents. So that's really important. A few freeholders mentioned back to school, and for some people that means in-class instruction, whether it's part-time or full-time or share time. For some people, it's remote learning, and that is frustrating, I'm sure, for some, but all in the way of safety for our students, right? So that's the superintendent's job in the county perspective, and for the district superintendents to make the calls with the information they have that provide a safe learning environment. Some districts felt they could do it with some kind of remote learning. Some people felt they could do it with the in-class. And we all are urgent, all have urgency to get back to whatever normal was for everyone, but we have to do it in a way that's safe. And I don't criticize any decision that was made, because it was made in the best interest of the people in that district for their students. Besides that, two other quick things. Labor Day is among us, and I hope everyone will have a good, safe Labor Day. For a lot of us, it's a long weekend. For some of us, it's extra work, but I hope people will enjoy themselves and have a good Labor Day weekend. And then on sad news, I'm glad Freeholder Kowalski mentioned Michelle Burrito. She was certainly a driving force in the northern end of our county, and someone who was very influential and very helpful to not only the residents of Summit, but the residents of Union County. On a different note, the official Major League Baseball team of this Freeholder board is the New York Mets, and we lost probably the greatest Met in Tom Seaver, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. Not that it impacts Union County so much, but I know that most of the freeholders, I think, are Met fans, and sorry, Jimmy, and random Yankee fans. But I know the county manager's a Met fan too, so we certainly will. No, Jimmy, don't turn your video on. Turn your video off. You're
good. Yeah.
So at that, I'll just close my comments and wish everyone a great weekend. I appreciate the hard work of this Freeholder board. They always do a great job day in and day out for our residents. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. And seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you all. Good work.
Good night.